Hello friends and welcome back to the Dork Side. I'm the Dork in the Road, and today I'm going to show you all the gear I'm taking on my very first Backcountry Discovery Routes tour of the Washington BDR. I'm the Dork in the Road, and I want to be your internet riding buddy, so please consider subscribing. I am leaving for my first BDR trip in... what is today? Tuesday, in 5 days. We're going to hit the road. We're going to be on the BDR for 5 days and come home. So it runs the length of Washington from the border of Canada to the border of Oregon. Check it out if you haven't. I'll link the ridebdr.org site for you. Great way to see the state. And I think we're hitting the sweet spot between the snow melting and before the fires start. So I'm excited about that. It is a full week of living off the bike, if you count the day it's going to take us to get up there. And so I am being very selective about what I take. I'm trying to stay lightweight, but also take a few creature comforts. So let me show you what I'm taking with me gear-wise, and I'll link everything for you in the description if you want to check out any of these things for yourself. But I haven't done a BDR before, but I have motocamped a ton, and so I feel pretty good about my setup, and anything I learn along the way, well, I'll definitely add when I do this again in August, because I'm going to do the Colorado BDR. You can actually come with me. That is a guided ride. There's, I think, 5 spots left. It's $100 a day for gear portage and prearranged campsites and all that. So I will link that for you in the description. That's Exit Tours. That's Exit Motorcycle Tours. Before we do that, let's look at what we're taking on the Washington BDR. This is my entire loadout, my whole setup. I told myself I wasn't going to take anything that didn't fit on this bench, trying to give myself a goal to hit, and I cheated by leaning things up against the wall, but all my camping gear, at least, is on the bench. I also have over here, these are my tools and my clothes, and then I'll have this bag for electronics for filming, this tripod, and then just a couple battery packs in my tank bag. But in terms of camping gear, this is what I'm taking. So let me just give you kind of a quick rundown of all of this, and then, stay tuned for the videos of me actually using it on the BDR. I'm running my 2 Giant Loop Round the World panniers. Those are 48 liters each, and my Giant Loop Tillamook bag, which is 50 liters. So I have 150 liters of storage, which is a ton. It's too much, but it left me some room to work with, both to bring some luxuries and also just so I'll have room for clothes and food and things along the way. Souvenirs, booze, whatever I want to pick up. All right, we're just gonna work left to right. This is just a tarp. This is an extra tarp in case we need to set it up for shade, a windbreak. It could be a makeshift shelter if somebody needed it. But again, that's one of those extra things I threw in when I discovered I had extra room. It weighs almost nothing and is super useful in a ton of ways. So there's a tarp and some paracord in there. This is my Tusk compact camp chair, and this is my little end table, my orange metal end table. Yes, a table is a complete and total luxury on a trip like this. You can totally do it without it, but when I'm cooking, because we're going to be dispersed camping, I don't want to cook on the ground. I don't want to try to balance my jet boil on the ground and put a pot on top of it. A nice flat surface to cook on, to cook your coffee on in the morning, and to set your drinks on or whatever as you're working is great to have. That table weighs nothing, super inexpensive, and I have room for it in my bag, so I'm taking it. Same with the chair. You could do the whole trip without a chair if you wanted to. Lots of people do. I don't like to sit on the ground if I don't have to, and I don't have to because I have room and the chair weighs nothing, and this Tusk chair has been great for me. It's held up really well over the year I've been using it, so I'm taking it on the trip. This is my Get Out Gear down puffy blanket. This also converts into a poncho. I'm hoping I don't need to use it because it shouldn't be that cold, and I have a sleeping bag, but this is an extra blanket just in case I need it, and it turns into a poncho for a super cold morning or whatever, and it's down, so it packs down really small and weighs nothing. This is my Big Agnes Insulated Q-Core Deluxe. This is the 30 by 78. It is a massive sleeping pad the size of a twin bed. My smaller Big Agnes pad is about the size of this when it's packed down, and I originally had it packed thinking I'll just save the space, it's not that much worse, but when I got everything packed, I totally had room. So this is actually bigger than my tent, as you can see. Again, total luxury, but I have the space for it, so I'm taking the big one. It works really well with my quilt setup anyway. This is my Big Agnes Tiger Wall UL2 tent. It's a bike packing tent. That's why it packs down so small, smaller than my sleeping pad, as I said. I have a full sort of setup and review of this tent, which I will link for you. That is a really good option, super lightweight, packs very small, and it's great for moto camping trips like this. These are my Merrell Slippers. As you can see, they have a sturdy rubber bottom. They squash down really small, and I don't want to be wearing my riding boots all the time, so these are great except for when it's wet, and it shouldn't be wet on this trip. So these are going to be my camp shoes. Really nice because they kind of convert from just front slippers to full on. They have a back here, so you can slide your feet into them if you need to get up and pee in the middle of the night. But if you want to wear them walking around camp or even kind of in the woods, you just pull that back part up and it covers your heel and it stays on really well. This is my Enlightened equipment quilt. If you've seen the other videos, it sits on top of your sleeping pad, so it saves you a ton of space because it's about half the size of a sleeping bag, and your insulated sleeping pad keeps you warm from underneath, so you lay directly on the sleeping pad. And this also is down, so so it can squish down even farther once I get it in my bag. So that's just a stuff sack. If I had a compression sack, it would be even smaller. This is a dry pod out of a Giant Loop tank bag, and inside is everything that smells. So I've got my food, got some jerky, I got a couple dehydrated meals, my jet boil is in here, my coffee, and there's an extra fuel canister in there, so when the one inside the jet boil runs out, I can still make coffee and cook. So that all fits neatly into this bag, which I can seal up. It's a dry bag. It's not going to prevent bears from getting in entirely. I mean, they'll smell it, but it's going to reduce that odor while we're out in the woods, and it's a little bit safer. And I can hang this in a tree because it has this, you can hook those two ends together and hang it up. This is just my cooking setup. So my Sea to Summit Alpha Pan, I've got my plastic plate, and then my Sea to Summit X Pot, X Cup, and X Bowl are all compact inside of each other inside this Coghlan's mesh bag. This is my Coghlan's Possibles pouch. So I made a full video on everything that goes in here, but it's my knife, my fire starting kit, my bug spray, my sweetener for my coffee. I got a little thermometer on here because I like to know what the temperature is, headlamp, flashlight, all the essentials that I take on every trip, you know, baby wipes, everything. They're all in that bag. And so check out the other video if you want to see exactly what's in there, but that is all the sort of odds and ends essentials. This is a Surviveware first aid kit. Always take this with me, especially when I'm going to have sharp things like, I don't know, axes and saws. But full first aid kit, plus I pack a lot of ibuprofen on these trips, both because I'm an old man and I'll be sleeping on the ground, and because I drink sometimes and get headaches, and so it's nice to have the stuff for that. Speaking of drinking, here's my Motocamp Nerd flask, 9 ounces. Love this flask. It's very sturdy. You could run it over with your bike and it would not smash down, so I've beat the crap out of this thing and it's great. So it's full and I may refill it as we go. I don't know. That's a total luxury, and one thing I did not have in my original loadout till I discovered I had extra space. Same thing with this. This is my little travel humidor, which has room for, it's got 2 layers, so I've got about 6 cigars in there. The hard shell prevents those from getting smashed, and they'll last, and I can kick that thing around or use it as a kickstand puck or whatever I need to do. Next to that, this is the rechargeable Thermocell mosquito repeller and an extra cartridge. This charges micro USB. I can charge it off the bike or off my battery packs once it's empty, but I hear the mosquitoes are really bad this year, and so I'm bringing this. This creates kind of a perimeter in camp that annoys the bugs enough and they go away, and these things work really well. So they make another version that actually burns butane, but this one's a little bit more compact and a little easier, so I'm gonna roll with that. This is my mattress inflator, as you can see, and also fire starter, makes a great flamethrower. Silky Gomboy folding saw, one of the best saws you can buy, and they're only like 35 bucks. This is for processing firewood and stuff. Fiskars hatchet, again, I wasn't going to take both, but I have room, so I'm going to. Splitting firewood, chopping down trees, whatever I need to do. This is my Sea to Summit 4-liter pack tap, aka the Pacific Northwest Green Manta Ray. As you can see, it's fully deflated, it's dried out, it's the off season, but once I fill it back up, it will be back to its former glory and ready to dispense all the life-giving liquids I need on the trail. This is the Gsi Adventure Gear Spark. This is a small wooden stove. It's collapsible. So if we ever get to a place where we can't have a campfire, or we don't want to deal with setting up a campfire and harvesting enough wood, this little miniature stove will sit on my table. All I need is twigs to keep it going, and I can cook a steak or brats or whatever I want on this thing. So I'm excited to take that with me. This is another luxury that I didn't think I was going to have room for, and I totally do. I mean, it helps that it packs totally flat. Bear spray works on bears, and as you know, not bears. This is my Nemo Pillow Luxury. So my favorite collapsible pillow. This thing is awesome. It's kind of a combination memory foam and inflatable pillow, and I never go camping without it. This is my Gsi Outdoors Kitchen Kit. There's tongs in there, a spatula, any kind of cooking I might need to do. It's covered here. There's a little cutting board. There's even like a wash rag and stuff in there. This is my Toiletries Kit. So sunscreen, bug spray, contact solution, deodorant, toothbrush, stuff like that. That's all in here. And this is just a Possibles pouch I got on Amazon, so no big deal. I just remembered I stashed my second pillow in the other sleeping pad, and I'm gonna want that, so I'm gonna grab it. I like this one because I just stashed it on the top of the pad, but that is a Sea to Summit Arrows Premium pillow, both a backup pillow, and I like to actually sleep with 2, and this takes up no space and it weighs nothing, so I always take it with me. Doink. I shall call him Mini-Me. So that's camping gear. A couple more things I'm taking with me because, you know, when you're on your motorcycle in the backcountry for a week, you got to be prepared for a lot of situations. Giant Loop. This is a fender bag, just because I didn't feel like taking my Possibles pouches off of my Motor-Trek panniers, and it's the same thing, but they're in there is my toolkit. I've got my Baja No Pinch in there. I am taking the Norden, so I don't need a tube and all of that stuff. I am taking this Tusk tire repair kit, which has plugs and patches and everything I could need on the trail. Hopefully, if anything worse than that happens, I'm gonna have to try to ride out on a flat or whatever. Some tires you can put a tube in, but on the Norden, the valve stems are offset, and so that's actually kind of a pain in the ass. So I'm hopeful that I'll just be able to patch whatever happens. This is a cool little item. Actually, it's in my Black Spire Outpost bag from Disneyland. This little miracle is a Tusk jump starter pack. So this is for jumping a dead battery. You can also charge. It's a USB charger and a light, so it's got multiple uses. So hopefully we don't need it, but if we do, there it is, and the cables and everything are inside this bag. I just use the bag to keep it all together. This is a Giant Loop zigzag bag, and inside here I keep all my straps. So pronghorn straps, Giant Loop cinch straps, everything I might need, see, to secure, because you don't know what you're going to pick up or end up with along the trail, or you may buy a 12-pack that's funky shaped or something like that. So I just like to have extra straps if I have room, and I do. And this is another tank bag dry pod, and into it I've just placed all my clothes. So an extra pair of pants, pair of shorts, couple shirts, some underwear and socks. And that makes like an extra pillow or whatever if I need it. That is my complete gear loadout for this trip. Stay tuned for the videos of the trip coming up, and I'm also going to make a video of just packing everything up in the bags and show you how that all goes into the bags. But I may do that on the Giant Loop channel, and if I do, I'll link that for you. Wish me luck on the trip. By the time you see this, I'll either be on it or I'll be home. But I appreciate you watching. If you have any questions about any of the gear, I've used all this stuff. There's nothing that I'm taking that I don't recommend. So if you're wondering if I recommend anything in the video, I do. Otherwise, I wouldn't be risking taking it on this trip. Check out the links in the description. But for now, and as always, I just want to say thank you very much for watching, and please do not forget to be excellent to each other. Thank you.